Roger Stone has found himself apologizing following a social media post where he put a US federal judge in crosshairs. Now, the judge is US District Judge Amy Berman Jackson, and she is the federal judge overseeing his criminal case. Now, his criminal case, of course, has to do with the fact that he was tampering with witnesses in the Russia investigation, among other things. And so I want to show you what he posted on Instagram, I believe, and then he later took it down. So here's what he had posted. And the comment next to it said this: through legal trickery, deep state hitman Robert Mueller has guaranteed that my upcoming show trial is before Judge Amy Berman Jackson, an Obama-appointed judge who dismissed the Benghazi charges against Hillary Clinton and incarcerated Paul Manafort prior to his conviction for any crime. Fixes in, help me fight for my life. And then he solicited people for donations to help him in his legal troubles. Now, the reason why this is getting a lot of attention is if you look at the photo again, you'll see that there is crosshairs like right next to her face, right? On the top left-hand corner. And so later it was taken down for obvious reasons, and he sort of apologized for it. But keep in mind that this judge also imposed a gag order against Roger Stone because he was going on his usual media tour, bad-mouthing everyone and kind of jeopardizing some of this investigation and this case. Later, he apologized because his lawyers forced him to, and he said the following: a photo of Judge Jackson posted on my Instagram has been misinterpreted. This was a random photo taken from the internet. Any inference that this was meant to threaten the judge or disrespect the court is categorically false.
No, I'll tell you exactly why he did it. So it is not random, not remotely. Look at not just the imagery he used, but the words he used. He literally said hitman in the text of the article. Now he is theoretically talking about Robert Mueller, but when you put a crosshairs next to a judge's head and you refer, the other side has hitmen, and then he says, I'm fighting for my life. And so there are several implications here about the judge. And then he said, oh, I just got the picture off of a Google search. So you know what I did? I did a Google search.
Doesn't exist.
So as soon as the story broke, I did the Google search and I went page after page. The only reference was to the Roger Stone Instagram post, okay? Outside of that, the picture didn't come up at all. It was perfectly normal pictures of Amy Berman Jackson, the judge. And by the way, you quickly run out of her pictures and then becomes random Jacksons and Amy's and Bermans, right? There aren't that many pictures of her. And so no, he searched for that picture.
Right.
And specifically put it up.
And so I definitely believe you because he's a trickster, he's known for lying, and I don't really care what his excuses are. But what matters to me more than the imagery here is what he has to say. So let's say in a best case scenario for him, he's telling the truth and the crosshairs were included in the image and he didn't realize it, yada, yada. What he wrote is what's problematic, right? He and people of his ilk incite people, right? And that's the problem, right? You're putting her in the crosshairs by using this type of commentary in describing her, in describing the investigation. He's making it seem as though he's a victim. You're not a victim when emails and text messages perfectly prove that you threatened witnesses in this investigation, right? Threatening people by saying that you're gonna take their dogs. Like, what are you, the Wicked Witch of the West? Threatening people in every way possible to ensure that they don't cooperate in the investigation. That is a crime. That is the reason why you were arrested early in the morning. That is why you're facing legal troubles now.
So now we get to the real reason that I believe he did it. It wasn't to get her assassinated. I hope not. I don't know what's in his mind in that regard, but he did not want her as the judge. And the Post is complaining about how they picked the judge and he didn't like it and he wants another judge. Now, if you do something deeply personal against the judge, then you can make an argument that the judge should recuse herself because she's now too much personally invested in the case. So, hey, I'm gonna need another judge here because she thinks I threatened her life. She's obviously not going to be fair to me. She's going to be biased against me because I nearly had her murdered. So I'm gonna need a new judge.
He's so gross. He's so gross.
And so I believe that that's his real reason for why he did that. He knew all along that people would notice. He knew he would immediately take the picture down. He'd do the court filing to apologize. But then at the end, and so this is why we do these things ahead of time. You'll now see if I'm right. He will now go in front of the judge and go, well, obviously you can't be my judge anymore, and we're gonna need a new judge in this case. If I'm wrong, he won't do that, and we'll all get to see it for ourselves. But my guess is that'll be their next move.
Yeah, that's a really good theory. But either way, there's just so much evidence against him. Again, in the form of text messages, emails. You threatened witnesses, dude. Like, it doesn't matter what judge you get. The evidence is overwhelmingly against you. So we'll see how this plays out.
And the next judge, you think is going to be thrilled that you threatened the life of the previous judge? Okay, but all he has is dirty tricks. So when you're wrong on the facts and wrong on the law, and all you've ever done your whole life is dirty tricks, you go back to that same old bag, and that's the only bag he's got. Like what you see? Click the subscribe button below, and don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another video from the Young Turks.